My name isn't important. I've been a long-haul truck driver for more than 11 years now, and I've always believed that the scariest things on the road are the drunk teenagers, the half-asleep SUV drivers, and ice on black asphalt. I never believed in ghosts. Not once. And trust me, this job gives you enough lonely nights that if ghosts were real, I should have seen 1,000 by now. But nothing prepared me for what I saw on Interstate 70 last winter. I don't care if people think I'm lying or crazy. This happened, and it changed the way I look at darkness forever. It was a little past 2:00 a.m. I had crossed back into Colorado from Utah on my 900-mile three-state route. There is a strange silence that exists in that specific part of the highway, like the sky is thicker there, like the world is pressing down on you. No radio stations, no traffic, no rest areas for nearly 40 minutes. Just your own breathing and the low growl of a diesel engine. My back was stiff. My throat was dry from cheap coffee, and I was counting the miles until sunrise. I wasn't tired. That's the scary part. I was fully awake. My headlights cut through the highway, and I saw something small and reflective up ahead. At first I thought it was a smashed deer, or maybe a broken truck bumper. I leaned forward, squinting through the windshield. The road shoulder came into view, and my chest tightened. It wasn't debris. It was a person, a human figure, standing on the right shoulder of the interstate. Barely lit, barely moving. That alone would have been weird. Nobody stands out there at 2 a.m. in the winter. But there was something wrong with this one. The figure wasn't standing upright. It was leaning, slumped heavily toward its right side, like the bones inside the body were melted. That's when I instinctively eased my foot off the gas pedal. I shouldn't have, but I did. And that moment is where this nightmare truly began. The truck rolled closer. Every inch revealed more detail. The right arm, completely blackened like charcoal. The skin on that side of the torso, burnt and cracked like over-roasted wood. His clothing, half melted into his body, and the other half, the unburned side, was pale, human flesh. I felt a primal instinct telling me to accelerate and get away. Instead, like an idiot, I slowed even more because I just could not believe what I was seeing. Then it happened. The thing turned its head toward me. Not slowly, not like a normal human neck rotating. It snapped. A sudden, inhuman, glitch-like movement, straight toward my truck. And where a human face should have been, there was nothing. Smooth skin, no eyes, no mouth, no nose. Just featureless skin stretched across a skull shape like someone erased the face completely. I gasped and slammed my foot on the accelerator. The truck roared. My heart thumped so violently I could feel it in my throat. I stared straight ahead, forcing myself not to look toward the shoulder. I thought it was over. I thought maybe I hallucinated. And then something slammed against the passenger window. A burned hand, charred fingers, was right outside my window. I didn't dare look directly, but I saw the shape in my side vision. Something was right beside my moving truck, running, keeping up at full highway speed. I don't care how fast I've seen people sprint. Nothing human runs at 75 miles an hour. And the sound, light tapping, like fingernails dragging across glass. I floored the accelerator. My tachometer needle climbed dangerously high. The entire cab began to vibrate. The sound of the diesel engine drowned out everything else. I could barely breathe. My vision tunneled, but slowly, the tapping faded. The hand disappeared, and the road became silent again. When I finally saw a gas station ahead, I pulled in. I parked under the bright fluorescent lights, still shaking. I climbed out and walked around the truck. My entire body felt numb, like I'd been outside myself the whole time. But then I saw it. On the passenger side window, where that hand had been, were burned fingerprints, dark smudges, melted streaks, like someone had pressed charred skin against the glass. Inside the convenience store, I was so pale that the cashier asked if I was sick. I lied and said I didn't sleep well. I wasn't about to tell a stranger what I saw, but there was an older mechanic sitting at one of the small metal tables, drinking coffee and smoking an electronic vape. He overheard the conversation and looked up at me like he had been waiting for someone to ask. He said, "You came off I-70? I nodded. "What mile?" I told him the approximate stretch. His face tightened, like he immediately recognized it. He leaned forward and spoke quietly. "That road takes people. Most folks don't talk about it, but you're not the first guy to see him." He told me about a truck accident that happened 10 or 11 years ago along that exact stretch of highway. A semi overturned, fuel leaked, and the entire rig caught fire. The driver got halfway out before collapsing. Witnesses said he was screaming as he burned alive, reaching for the road, like he was trying to crawl out of hell itself. Some drivers swear his ghost walks that stretch of I-70. Some say he tries to flag down other truckers, begging for help, trying to finish the escape he never completed in life. But others believe something else entirely. They say what walks that road isn't his soul. It's the pain that got stuck there, a fragment, a burned echo, a face with no features because whatever identity he had was erased in the fire. He told me other truckers have reported the same tapping on the passenger window, the same sudden vanishing, the same nightmare-fast running beside their rigs. Some even said they heard screaming through the glass. I clenched my jaw, realizing I wasn't insane. I wasn't hallucinating. This thing was real. I walked back out to my truck after that conversation and stared at the burned marks again. I touched the glass. The smudges felt slightly sticky, like melted plastic residue. That's when it hit me. Those prints weren't soot. They were skin, burned human skin. My body went cold. I sat in the cab for a long time before starting the truck again. The highway was still waiting outside, and I knew I had to get back on it. When I pulled back onto I-70, I couldn't stop staring at the passenger side mirror. Every shadow on the shoulder looked like a figure. Every patch of darkness felt like an approaching shape. I never saw him again that night, but I didn't relax. Not a single second. The road felt haunted, alive, and I drove the rest of that route with a stiff spine and sweat-soaked palms. When the sun finally rose hours later, it felt like salvation, like daylight burned away whatever nightmare lived in those miles. Even now, months later, when I drive that route, I never look at the shoulder. I never slow down. Sometimes I think about that mechanic's words, "The road takes people." I don't know if that thing is searching for help or searching for victims, but I know this. What I saw wasn't a hallucination. It left physical evidence on my truck. It wasn't a story. It was a presence. So if you ever find yourself driving Interstate 70 after midnight, especially the long, empty stretch with no exits, remember this story. If you see a figure on the road shoulder, half burned, half human, leaning like his bones are melted, do not slow down. Do not make eye contact, because if you do, he'll slide right up to your window, and you'll hear that tapping too.